And then there was two final rounds of Racecraft Rallycross for RX2 and RX1. What could possibly be two of the most exciting championships that we have seen in the history of this series all comes down to two tracks at two opposite sides of the world. Hello and welcome to round number 9 of Racecraft Rallycross live on Racecraft TV. We're happy that you're spending your Sunday afternoon with us here on the East Coast and Sunday evening everywhere else in the world. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Joining me alongside is Dane Baird once again. And Dane, this season has been so exciting to watch unfold. We began in wine country of Sonoma, went down to Florida, and then everywhere around the world, and we come back now to the United Kingdom and to Scotland for the second to last round of the campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we went to Brands Hatch earlier on in the season, and now we head back to the UK, of course, at Knockhill, a very new circuit in iRacing Rallycross. I believe it's the newest of all of the circuits on iRacing Rallycross as well. So the drivers won't have as much experience with this circuit as somewhere like Daytona, which has been around for what, almost 5 years now at this point on the service, making me feel a bit old there, to be honest. But yeah, Knockhill, really fun circuit, loads of elevation change in both the regular road course layout. They've transitioned that through into the rallycross layout as well. The layout that's used in the real world for rallycross at Knockhill. So it's a fantastic circuit, and the dirt section is always great fun as well.
And you can see that dirt section spreading its way from turn 2 all the way down to past turn 4. And then you can see that Joker lane taking the long way around here, with this being a typical European style Joker lane. And then through turns 5 and 6 on the normal track, we'll bleed right back onto the start finish, which it is a start finish straight. They will start just past that start line and then finish, of course, on that same racing line. As we take a look at the points for RX2, which at this point we're seeing Carson McKenna really be the championship favorite. But honestly, Dane, the battle is going to be closer to that middle portion of the points. Tom Grady, Paul Mikolajczyk, Trevor Teal, Russell Peterson, and Matthew Lindy all very close. You can add Sim Van Weerld in there as well. Tyler Campbell, if McKenna has 2 bad rounds, has to take 2 of his drop weeks in the last 2 rounds of the campaign. We could see Tyler Campbell being there in the championship hunt, and then Sean Winkler looking to capture another podium in the points.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got a very close points battle throughout the field, as you said, just especially looking in the midfield section with drivers separated by 2 points, Tom Grady and Paul Mikolajczyk. So really fantastic that after 8 rounds of the championship, we are still so close with all the drivers with the points. And yeah, those top 2 really in a league of their own. But Carson McKenna just slightly edging over Tyler Campbell there. I say slightly, he's got quite a big lead in his defense. But yeah, those two have been at each other for the entire season long, and it's great to see that they're still up there at the top and still performing at such a high level as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see those two in RX1 next season.
We'll see what happens. Of course, in the finale, we do have a couple of names work their way and graduate up to RX1. And then, of course, next season, we'll see them go racing in RX1. But we'll stick it with RX2. Let's take a look at that race analysis. Of course, pretty much the same structure as RX1, like usual. 5-lap heats, 5-lap LCQs with a 10-lap feature. We'll see how many drivers exactly are going to advance from those heats and LCQs into the feature race. But we will have 12 drivers in the feature no matter what. An 8x incident limit and a fixed setup here in RX2 versus RX1 having a 6x incident limit and an open setup. Those drivers expected to know a little bit more about the cars and about the tracks, so they have a little bit more of a difficult challenge ahead of them. But these RX2 drivers still learning in these high-powered RX supercars, which around this course, this being the newest rallycross course on the service, Dane, you admitted before the broadcast you never watched a race at Knockhill, and I've only commentated one, and that was in last season of Racecraft Rallycross, which admittedly, middle of the tour, I don't remember much of it. So this is going to be a very, very big surprise for the both of us as we see them go racing here.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a really technical circuit. I mean, especially just, you can see this shot that we're seeing now, it's through turn 1, and what usually would be turn 2 to the left if you carried on the road course. Instead, we go to the right into what usually is the gravel trap, but we turn right through into a dirt section. It's got some grippy tarmac, sort of almost glued surface on the right-hand side, right on the inside. But that's a sight you don't see very often in iRacing Rallycross anymore. Tire bundles on the inside of the corner. So they have to be careful, the drivers, not to hit those. And then into the dirt section, and I don't know if you've ever done an iRacing Rallycross event. Keeping it going in the right direction through the dirt is already difficult enough without having walls on either side of you throughout the entire dirt section.
Well, it's time to get started with heat race number 1. We will have 3 drivers advance into the feature. Tyler Campbell, Dario Franco, and Levi Carell will be on the opening top 3. Andrew Howell, Dylan Baldwin, Robert Kirtley going to round out the top 6. 8 drivers taking the green flag here in heat number 1 with Matthew Lindy and Hex Valentine going to round out the last 2 spots. As we take a look at those drivers taking their way to the grid, getting ready to go racing. Good amount of Subarus, 1 Ford Fiesta and 1 Volkswagen Beetle. We're going to take the green flag here for heat race number 1. An important race to get started with tonight in the first heat. 8 drivers, and we'll have, it looks like another 8 go racing in heat race number 2. And we'll take 3 from each of these, and then we're going to take 6 from the LCQ and put them forward into tonight's feature. So a lot of drivers out of this 16 car group will be advancing as we get ready to send these drivers down into turn number 1. Campbell and Franco on the opening row, and they'll see that green flag, and we will go racing from Knockhill. There's the green, and we are underway for the first heat race of the night. Tyler Campbell with a good start. Dario Franco stuck outside, almost a 3 wide. Levi DeCarell looks to the inside there, 2 by 2 through the opening dirt section, and already pulling away is Tyler Campbell. Dario Franco, not the start he wanted. He's already down to P4 as they work their way through the dirt for the first time.
And look at the lead Campbell already has coming out of the dirt section. You can see how bumpy it is, and the car's being thrown all over the place as they hit the bumps on the dirt. Now you can see the final corner complex. You've got the regular route, which cuts through the inside here, the double right-hander, and then you've got the long lap on the outside, the hairpin that the road course usually takes. That's the joker for the drivers today.
Tyler Campbell out to an early lead, and by a good margin as well, 1.4 seconds. They cannot take that joker on the opening lap. They have to take it on the second lap or adjacent lap. So second, third, fourth, or final lap. They cannot take it on the first one because they technically start after the start-finish line. So that means that they have to cross the start-finish line at least once before they start to take the joker. Top 3 will advance out of this heat, and Tyler Campbell, who holds the lead currently, does not joker first time by. Neither does Carell. Dylan Baldwin's way off the racetrack. Here comes Dario Franco to take that 3rd spot.
Yeah, it's a very similar story with the joker to circuits like Sonoma or Daytona, where you'll often see drivers not taking to the joker on the first time by because it's straight after the start of the race. Here, a little bit less obvious because you go all the way around the lap before you get to it. As we just see in the background, Franco off into the wall on the outside of turn 2.
Rough time for Dario Franco as he went way off to the side there in the dirt. Only 1 driver to joker so far. That's Matthew Lindy. Tyler Campbell still not going to joker. This time by Levi Carell, new driver here to Racecraft Rallycross. Jokers here, gonna look for that transfer spot. They're gonna fall to 4th now, but the only driver out of the top 5 to have taken the joker so far with 2 to go.
Yeah, and telling us before the race last week as well, bought the car 10 minutes before the race started. So ended for the podium in RX2 as well, by the way. So a fantastic debut for Levi there. But yeah, into this second round for them as we see Campbell now into the joker.
So leader Campbell does hit the joker. Dylan Baldwin behind as well. Dario Franco will too, and Levi DeCarell getting a great gift there as we go on the white flag. He was able to pass Baldwin and Franco through the joker lane that time by, pushing him further up into the transfer spots. Baldwin and Franco now the battle for the transfer. Franco not enough time to catch up to that driver out in front of him, Dylan Baldwin, for 3rd. So it looks like he's going to have to settle for 4th unless a mistake comes out from the driver in front. But through the final corner here, the Knockhill Racing Circuit in heat race number 1, grabbing that victory will be Tyler Campbell. Great start for the number 37 tonight as he crosses the start-finish line. Levi Carell, great start for him in his Racecraft Rallycross career, taking 2nd place in the heat, and Dylan Baldwin rounds out your transferees.
Yep, and one thing that I've just noticed now as well is the amount of extra speed that you can carry coming out of the Joker. You said we can use that in qualifying, similar to how they do it at Phoenix, where they go through the Joker on their outlaps in qualifying and they get a better run into the first couple of corners. The same goes for here at Knockhill. You've also got the same thing at Barcelona, but it means that it's very rare that you'll see drivers take that Joker on the last lap if they can avoid it, because they'll lose that entire advantage from the start-finish line all the way down to turn 1, where they'd usually have a bunch of overspeed.
Carson McKenna will be on the pole for heat race number 2. Russell Peterson, Sean Winkler, Hector Sierra, and Thomas Grady going to round out your top 5. Trevor Teal starts P6 with Ian Fisher and Nick Chacon going to round out the full field, and we're ready to get going here with heat race number 2. We'll put through 3 more drivers into the feature, and they are underway. And it's a good start by Russell Peterson. He's going to beat Carson McKenna in the straight line down into the opening corner. McKenna now in second, stuck in the middle there. That was Sean Winkler. Now Hector Sierra Jr., Thomas Grady come together. Drifting through that opening dirt corner was Hector Sierra Jr. They keep it straight now back to the dirt, and in the lead it's Russell Peterson. Carson McKenna not letting him go too far away as we go on board with Carson McKenna very close to making contact with the 59 is an issue for Sean Winkler further back. Oh,
big issue there. Yep, you can see both of those cars extremely damaged. And I just want to say, Hector Sierra Jr. there, insane car control through the first couple of corners to get through there in one piece. We'll see now what's happened to Sean Winkler. Oh,
just lost it to the dirt. Thomas Grady nowhere to go.
Maybe a tiny bit of contact, actually. I'm not sure if there was like the slightest bit of contact just before he hits the wall from behind. Yeah, tiniest bit potentially.
Well, that takes Sean Winkler out of the running for this heat race win, pushes him down to P8 currently. Russell Peterson in the lead. Does he joker here? Yes, he does. Carson McKenna's going to follow him in. A bit of a lockup there. It's an off-camber, uphill to the right turn in the joker. No chicane on the exit, but a big now large momentum of speed down into the opening corner off of that front straightaway right out of that joker. Some drivers in qualifying using the joker lane on their opening lap to get a really good run onto their flying lap.
Yeah, and also something from that right-hander in the Joker. It is so difficult to get the power down without just spinning up the rear tires, because the crest is right on the apex, just after the apex of the hairpin. So as you come out and you want to get hard onto the power, if you do get hard onto the power, well, you're going to have Wheel Spin City, as we see a lovely dual cam here riding on board and inside the cockpit.
This is Nick Chacon as he goes through the Joker. He'll exit the Joker and get right back onto the racing line. 2 laps to go. Russell Peterson right now holding that lead. He's got Carson McKenna behind. Both of them relatively safe at the transfer spots right now. Trevor Teal, who holds that transfer in the Nitro Circus number 72, still has yet to take to his Joker lap. He will have to do it either this time or next time by, but with about 3.5 seconds to play with over Hector Sierra Jr. Dane, I think he might be okay and safe from losing out on that transfer spot when he jokers now on the final lap, which could be really good for him with that small run up to the start-finish line.
Yep, and now going through turn 2 here and down the hill. It's really difficult to get the car stopped into that downhill braking zone, because obviously gravity is trying to pull you down the hill. So trying to get the car stopped, incredibly difficult. But Pearson's doing a fantastic job of holding McKenna back, and McKenna's so completely unstoppable so far this season, so really impressive stuff.
Through the final corner, McKenna gonna give a little bit of a bump, but it's not going to be enough. And Russell Peterson, and you can see the excitement on the 59 driver's face, and he will walk away with your heat race number 2 victory, and he beats the current points leader as it's a gaggle of cars to the finish. Sierra Jr. takes the final transfer spot, and Trevor Teal is going to end up P4. What a way to finish it.
Yeah, awesome stuff from there. And Peterson, you can see how happy he was. And that's just a heat race victory as well. It's not even like he's won the feature. So really awesome to see the elation for Peterson there. We'll start from the front row of the grid when we get to our feature race. So really important finishing position for him there as we see the starting grid for what I believe is the last chance qualifier.
It is only one LCQ. We'll take the top 6, which will only put 4 drivers eliminated before we go to the feature. Dario Franco, Trevor Teal, Andrew Howell, Ian Fisher, the top 4. Robert Kirtley, Nick Shakan, rounding out the top 6 with Matthew Lindy, Sean Winkler, Hex Valentine, and Thomas Grady. Going to round out the full field of 10 that are getting ready to go racing in this only LCQ now of the evening. And the revs will build here in a moment. Waiting on now just Andrew Howell, and there comes Andrew Howell onto the grid. Only LCQ. We'll see if RX2 before we go racing into the feature. And the revs come up, the lights go green. We are racing again, and down into the first corner, 3 wide already for the lead. Trevor Teal with the best start out of the top 3. He's gonna lead him in. A Ford Fiesta goes way off the track. That's Robert Kirtley, but Trevor Teal and Ian Fisher now to second. Gonna lead the field into the dirt. Dario Franco takes that second spot as Fisher goes wide. Now side by side with Andrew Howell to the dirt. It gets tight in here. Try and keep it straight. Fisher does. He'll be in 4th.
How has he held that one? That was impressive stuff from Fisher there. Just a slight tap on the wall, but nothing too serious for him as they make their way down in towards the final couple of corners here as well. Up the steep hill, and again you've got that crest on the exit. You get a little bit of wheel spin out of there as well. Drivers just have to manage that. But where did Kirtley go at the beginning? Just straight off towards the road course.
It looks like he might have gotten a little bit loose under braking, and it led to a pretty unique incident there. We'll grab a quick replay. It was right off the start. We'll need to rewind it just a little bit further. Here's the full opening start, and Kirtley, he just got loose, tapped it onto the grass, and then went off and over into the tires. He's still on the racetrack, and admittedly only P8, so it didn't hurt him that bad, Dane.
And with the top 6 going through, and the likelihood of incidents at the circuit, especially if drivers are going side by side, well, that might not just be over. He's up into 7th position as well now. So, possibility for Kirtley to actually still get a transfer spot here.
Trevor Teal still holds the lead. He has not jokered yet, neither has Franco, neither has Ian Fisher, as they sit in the top 3 right now. Howell, Winkler, and Lindy currently rounding out the drivers that are currently in those transfer spots. Matthew Lindy only with about 4.5 second gap over Robert Kirtley. Kirtley has taken the Joker, Lindy has not. So that damaged number 3 Subaru will still have to come into the Joker. Trevor Teal that time by leads across the stripe again. 2 laps to go. Still has yet to take the Joker, and neither has Franco or Fisher that time by.
Franco right on the back of Teal's bumper here. And you would imagine that both of the drivers should be taking to the Joker this time by, so they can still get that advantage down the start from the straight. But I feel like Franco might just do the opposite of what Teal does here. Teal straight into the Joker, as is Franco. We'll see if Fisher does in the background as well. Big old handbrake and a big old slide from Teal through the Joker there.
And Teal might lose out on a spot to Dario Franco. Andrew Howell's going to go through. Now, Howell has already jokered, but you can see that big speed momentum difference going to put Howell to 3rd. That is shades of, I want to say, another Rallycross track that I've seen in the past. I'm not sure if it's on the iRacing service, but that Joker momentum is just too strong.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to Barcelona's Joker exit in that way that it's the last corner, just a longer way around it. So we've seen it in Barcelona so many times where the drivers just have so much speed coming out and it can cause incidents, so the drivers have to be careful today.
Through the final corner and across the start-finish line for the LCQ. Teal is in. Franco, Howell the top 3. Sean Winkler is 4th. Ian Fisher 5th. And Matthew Lindy, who currently has that 6th spot in the LCQ, has a 4-second gap over Kirtley. He has that Joker lane done, and through the final corner comes Matthew Lindy, and he will now be coming across the line and be your 6th and final transferee into the feature race. That is 2 heats and an LCQ done. Teal, Franco, Howell, Winkler, Fisher, and Lindy all are qualified into the feature. Unfortunately, Kirtley, Shakan, Valentine, and Grady all will be on their way home after that LCQ. But we're only just getting started here at the virtual Knockhill racing circuit, Dane. Still 10 laps ahead of us in the feature for RX2 and all the RX1 guys, which honestly, I think this track is going to play into the hands of the RX1 guys a lot because it is a very technical track, and that Joker lane, it poses more strategy than you might think. It reminds me almost of Hell Lankabanen, where you have so much momentum on the exit, it could lead to passes on the straightaway and even down into turn 1.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we saw there with Hal coming out of the regular route and rejoining the Joker lane as it merges onto the start-finish straight there. The amount of speed that Teal was able to carry out, and Teal got a bad exit there as well. You've got to remember, the amount of speed that he had already coming out of the Joker and onto the start-finish straight compared to Hal was insane.
Drivers on the track now for a 2-minute warm-up. We join that about halfway through as drivers get one final shakedown of each of their vehicles before they take the green flag. And in the point standings right now for RX2, of course, it's been really the Carson McKenna show, but we did see Tyler Campbell grab a feature race win 2 weeks ago in Lucas Oil. Carson McKenna was able to grab one at Phoenix 1 week ago. Where do you think it's going to go, McKenna or Campbell, Dane? Because they both currently are tied for 3 feature race wins in their career.
I would have to go with Campbell on this one, I think, because he's obviously got pole position overall out of everybody. So first place starter in heat number 1. He's got pole position here again, and McKenna didn't get overall pole, so Campbell beat him in that regard, but also couldn't quite get past Peterson, and he's going to be starting behind Peterson in this feature race, directly behind him in the same row. So it's going to be a battle for him. It doesn't look like it's the easiest place to make a pass unless the driver in front of you makes a bit of a mistake, or you can send it up the inside into one of the corners. But yeah, he wasn't quite able to do that in the heat race. Whether or not he'll be a bit more aggressive in the feature race, well, we'll have to find out.
Well, it's time to take a look at the starting grid for the feature. And oh, by the way, Campbell and McKenna, all of their feature race wins in their Racecraft Rallycross career came in this season. Campbell starts on pole. Peterson to his outside with Levi Carrill. What a start for Levi Carrill in his career. He starts P3 with Carson McKenna in 4th. Dylan Baldwin, Hector Sierra Jr. going to round out the top 6. And rounding out the last half of the grid for the feature, Trevor Teal starts P7 with Dario Franco, Andrew Howell, Sean Winkler to the top 10. With Ian Fisher and Matthew Lindy rounding out this grid of cars that get ready to go racing. It is an all Subaru grid for RX2 as well. We expect that for RX1, but now we get a full Subaru grid for a feature here in RX2. As we wait on one more driver to take to the grid, it is Campbell and Peterson that are on the front row that will lead the field into the opening corner. That has proven to be so important here at Knockhill. Revs come up. The lights go green. We are racing from Knockhill in round 9, and it's a good start for everybody. Everybody gets through clean as Russell Peterson grabs the early lead. Tyler Campbell gonna lose the lead. McKenna trying to get 3rd. Here comes Dylan Baldwin to the inside in his Subaru. Pushes McKenna out of the way. McKenna fights with Sierra Jr. for 4th. Campbell fights with Peterson for the lead, but Tyler Campbell goes wide in the dirt, hits the tires, and here comes Dylan Baldwin to fight for 2nd.
It's all kicking off here, but so far so clean racing here, and all into the couple final corners here. A bit of contact at the back of McKenna, and here comes Sierra Jr. looking for a move up at the 4th position. Not going to find it this time 5, but after all of that back and forth, we've got the same top 4 as we started with.
It's Russell Peterson that leads, Tyler Campbell in 2nd. 1st and 2nd traded positions on the start. Baldwin and McKenna 3rd and 4th also traded positions on the start. First time by, we'll see the Joker lane come into play. Does anybody at the front take it? Campbell now really in an aggressive move through the dirt, trying to catch back up to the back bumper of that number 59 Subaru in front, and Peterson takes the early lead. Campbell's into the tires. Campbell goes wide, hard into the tires for Campbell. That's going to slow him down tremendously. A lot of drivers behind taking the Joker. He only loses 1 spot to 3rd. Here comes Winkler to try and take that spot, and Russell Peterson out of the Joker comes out right behind the duo.
Yeah, and Peterson's lost out there. He had nowhere to go. They're too wide right in front of him. He couldn't force the 3 wide issue. So he's lost a little bit of time there. That could allow Baldwin and McKenna to gain those positions because they've driven through. They haven't taken the Joker, but they'll be able to gain a little bit of extra speed on them. So we'll have to wait and see. But Campbell, I think maybe just like put off a bit by the late braking of the car in front and just locks up and into the tyre barrier on the outside.
That was complete late braking, and Tyler Campbell takes the Joker lane that time by. He comes out P9. That is not what he wanted, especially with championship rival Carson McKenna way up the road, P3, excuse me, fighting with Winkler and Baldwin, who are your current top two, who have not taken to the Joker lane yet this race. A lot of damage for Baldwin. He's still leading the way, but him and Winkler both still need the Joker with the majority of the field, all but 3 drivers, with Levi Kirill, I believe, starting in the pit lane. Now Baldwin and Winkler are going to Joker. That pushes Carson McKenna to the race lead, and the entire field, Joker lane's done.
Yep, and that was what was so crucial. McKenna got ahead of Peterson in the Joker Delta, just because Peterson got stuck behind Campbell and Winkler as they made their way through the final couple of corners there. Came out right in front of him. He had to slow down and lost all of the extra advantage that you get from the Joker. So his Joker Delta was bigger, and McKenna was able to make that move up into the race lead. How that has just flipped around the race completely on its head in the space of 2 laps.
Hector Sierra Jr., Andrew Howell fighting for the final spot on the podium, but halfway done, and everybody with Joker lanes done. Last time by, lap 4, Tyler Campbell did run the fastest lap of the race. Now Carson McKenna snatches that back at a 37.378. And Tyler Campbell from 6th, and I think if we look on board, unfortunately we don't have his webcam with us this week, but if we look on board, I think we'll see a lot of aggressive driving from the 37 at Campbell, just attacking these corners, because he sits 6th. He sees Baldwin in front, trying to work his way by, as Baldwin is a damaged Subaru, holding him up a little bit in front.
Yeah, it's always especially distracting as well to have a car directly in front of you. It's all sorts of slow on the apex there with Baldwin, and now Campbell has the opportunity. To the inside he goes, and that's going to be probably the easiest pass he makes all day.
Campbell up to P5. He's got 3.5 seconds to try and make up now to Andrew Howell, who is in 4th, who will be the next driver that he can fight with. Baldwin now going to move his way back into P6 with a little bit of a battle between Ian Fisher and Matthew Lindy. This is battle for 8th on the racetrack as we see Carson McKenna off the track and damage at the edge of the dirt section.
What's happened to McKenna?
Replay coming of Carson McKenna. It was out of the dirt section. What on earth happened for the number 11? He falls to 4th. Now maybe into the clutches of Campbell. Through the dirt. Oh, he hit the tires, flipped once, he got it back moving, but that was a clip to the tires, Dane. I saw people doing that in practice. I didn't think we'd see it in the race, but here we are.
Especially not for our championship leader as well. Just the smallest touch sends the car around, and luckily there is that bit of tarmac where the road course, where the Rallycross circuit rejoins the road course, and he's able to carry on, but heavily damaged there. And look who's right behind him with 2 laps to go.
Tyler Campbell back into this fight. As we look on board, it is not a wild gap. It's 5/10ths, and McKenna has Howell in front holding him up. He's battling Hector Sierra Jr., who is just able to work his way around McKenna with traffic. Of course, Campbell's still going to be dealing with that traffic, but if Campbell can get by as many cars as he can here, he might be able to get some points back, as Hector Sierra Jr. is all over the place in the asphalt.
He's just done exactly what McKenna did the last time by and clipped the tyre barriers. White flag then for the driver, but he clipped the tyre barriers and got away with it. Unlike McKenna last time by, Campbell all over the back of McKenna as they came out of the dirt section last time by. Because McKenna was held up slightly by Sierra Jr., Campbell could use this with advantage on the final lap here.
Dane, remember the elation from Russell Peterson when he won the heat race? I think we're going to see either that and more when he wins this feature. It will be a feature race win for Russell Peterson, and the first of his career. Take a bow, number 59. He is a Racecraft Rallycross feature race winner, Russell Peterson.
And he's probably going to do some victory burnouts. There we are. Into turn 2, just about avoids the barrier on the outside. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff from Peterson there. And it looks like, oh, McKenna and Tyler Campbell back at it again. Even though Tyler Campbell ends up in the barriers in the first couple of laps, McKenna rolls the car, and yet they still come out right next to each other at the finish.
That was an exciting race, and we might have a clenching of the championship for Carson McKenna. We'll wait for official word once the points are added up, but we do know who our feature race winner was, and that is Russell Peterson, which I will check, but I believe, yes, it is. It is first career feature race win for Russell Peterson. It was first career heat race win as well. He had only won 2 LCQs leading up to this point, and now he is a heat race and a feature race winner. Andrew Howell finishes in second, Hector Sierra Jr. third, Carson McKenna ends up fourth, Tyler Campbell in fifth, Trevor Teal sixth, Ian Fisher, Dylan Baldwin, Sean Winkler, and Dario Franco to the top 10. And rounding out the full field of drivers was Matthew Lindy and Levi De Carril, who finished 3 laps down at the end of this one. What a feature race there, Dane. We thought that it would be a Carson McKenna runaway after Tyler Campbell's mistake. Then McKenna makes a mistake, and we end up with a clenching of a champion. Even with that mistake, Carson McKenna is our Racecraft Rallycross RX2 champion for 2022 and Season 3.
And you can't say it wasn't deserved. I mean, he's absolutely been unstoppable this entire season long. Even starting from 4th position in the feature race, just getting the good Joker Delta. Yes, there was maybe some slight luck involved in that, but still had to have the pace around the circuit to gain up through the Delta before taking the Joker for himself. And yeah, just a fantastic driver this season, and I'm sure we'll be seeing him in RX1 next season if he returns. And honestly, I cannot wait to see what he can do there. We've got a couple of other RX2 drivers promoting as well, some promoting from last season, so it'll be good to see him rejoin them back up into RX1, but that's going to be a fantastic sight. We've still got Atlanta next week as well to see him racing it as well, so yeah, just really happy for the dude. I mean, he's been completely dominant in RX2 this season.
Yeah, the season is not done. We still have Atlanta that is left to come for this RX2 group and for the RX1 group as well. But a feature race win for Russell Peterson. He becomes adding his name to a pretty eclectic list of drivers. The likes of Mikey Lawrence, Sean Winkler, Christopher Plumley, Zach Knowles, Tor Andre Borison, the Season 1 champion, Zachary Drapkin, Connor Berry, Carson McKenna, and Luke Knupp, as well as Tyler Campbell, to have won RX2 feature races. And what's the future for Russell Peterson? I mean, he came into tonight 8th in the points and a lot to play with when he tried to get in front of Trevor Teal, Paul Mikolajczyk, and Tom Grady to get a top 5 in the points. This feature race win is going to help him out.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely, and yeah, just a great to see first time win again in the series. But yeah, also fantastic round for Peterson. He won the heat race in his heat, remember? So Peterson doing a great job. Obviously, really enjoys the circuit, and honestly, it looks like a super fun circuit. Like it really does, especially to the dirt section. The driver's absolutely sending it through there, fully sideways at points. It looks like a great circuit, and it's provided us with some fantastic racing. I can't wait for RX1 a bit later.
And the RX1 drivers are on the track for a bit of practice, and we'll see if we end up with any RX2 drivers that we can talk with here. But let's talk a little bit more about that track, Dane, because we saw it play out in RX2, and I think we really saw that Joker lane come into play, because we saw an instance where 2 drivers in front took the Joker. The 3rd driver didn't, had already taken it, and it got onto the straightaway. Got on the front straightaway roughly about the same time as the front 2 were exiting the Joker, and the 2 that were exiting the Joker blew right on past, like the 3rd driver wasn't even there. So it really is a Joker that builds that momentum all the way leading down into turn number 1 on one of the longest start-finish straights I think we have in iRacing Rallycross.
Yeah, just thinking that through, actually, I'm trying to think of a circuit that has a longer straight, and I am struggling. I think Phoenix potentially has a similarly length straight, but it is a really, really long one here. Knockhill, of course, it is literally the start-finish straight of a regular road course, so it's going to be big. So, yeah, the drivers have that as a challenge. But coming out of the Joker, it is really important to time it correctly, because you don't want to be coming out with traffic just in front of you, like we saw a couple drivers do in that feature race, and they just had nowhere to go, absolutely zero place to go. And unfortunately, you just got to slow down. You just got to take it, and that's why it's really important. And what the RX1 drivers will always do is try and time it to perfection, make sure they come out in some clear air.
And with the RX1 drivers, obviously, they're going to take that Joker lane strategy very, very seriously. Do you think we're going to see some of the same things that we saw in RX2 in the feature, which was everybody pretty much taking that Joker lane before the halfway point of the race?
I think it will be difficult to say. I think a couple of drivers may, depending on their situation, obviously because the Joker strategy changes every single lap. It depends on what everybody else around you is doing. So it depends on what the driver's mindsets are. I wouldn't be necessarily surprised, because I don't think it's beneficial to leave it too late. I think definitely whilst people are all going still bunched up through the last couple of corners, it's going to make them a little bit slower, as we saw in this RX2 feature. So going through the Joker lane, then you're obviously going to lose a little bit less time near the beginning of the race. But yeah, I think it's definitely possible that we do see that happen again. But also it just completely depends on how the race start goes. If everyone gets spread out immediately, we might see people taking it almost every single lap.
Well, RX1 drivers are currently on the track, and we are getting ready to see what they can do. They've still got a bit of practice left before they get started. So we'll grab a quick break here on Racecraft TV, but you want to make sure to not go anywhere, because when we come back, it'll be the best of RX1 that'll be getting ready to go racing. It's Racecraft Rallycross on Racecraft TV. Don't go anywhere. We still have more racing coming up right after this.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
It's time for some of the best of Racecraft Rallycross to go head-to-head. We saw the fireworks come out in RX2. What's going to happen when we send some of the best in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama, plus some of the best of off-road racing on the iRacing service, barreling into turn number 1 at Knockhill. Welcome back to Racecraft Rallycross and RX1 action. I'm your host, Joshua Lee, alongside Dane Baird once again. And Dane, the RX1 Championship is a lot different than what we're seeing in RX2. We're seeing Jacob Rafos pulling away at the front by a big margin, but Connor Parisi and Josh Fox locked in a hard battle for second. Tommy Makinen, after missing a couple of rounds, is still in the conversation to get onto the podium in the championship. And then Garrett Maines, who is back racing tonight, trying to get back from those drop weeks and earn those points to secure his top 5 in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Jacob Rafos, I mean, might as well call him champion right now. I mean, that gap is huge out in front. And honestly, no one has been able to match him like all season. He has been absolutely unstoppable. We said that about McKenna. McKenna and Campbell in RX2, they've been swapping back and forth. McKenna usually being slightly on top. Jacob Rafos, he's just been up there every single racing week. And yeah, last time out at Phoenix was no exception. Obviously, a lot of the drivers that you'd usually see up at the top not able to make it that time, but again, out in front, it was his favorite circuit and absolutely smashed it out of the park. Here at Knockhill, we'll see who gets out on top, but yeah, Rafos is just has an incredible season here.
Incredible season that is currently going on, and Jacob Rafos back tonight to go racing for a little bit more action, trying to get it done. I don't see him in the session currently, I don't believe. Oh no, he is. He's third. Sorry, I'm completely blind. But as we look at the points, we'll grab a look at the race analysis, which, of course, if you joined us for RX2, pretty much the same exact skeleton, except with a little bit different on the bottom there. 6x incident limit and an open setup for these drivers to use. So we'll see how these RX1 drivers will treat this race differently than the RX2 drivers. We had, I believe it was 16 drivers go racing in RX2. We have 17 that have put down time in qualifying for RX1, as we will get ready to go racing. But RX1 has been so exciting this season, Dane, and we continue now into Knockhill. Do you think it will be adding more to the record-breaking 9 total feature race wins in Jacob Rafos's career?
Honestly, would not put it past him. But yeah, Knockhill, a very different circuit. I feel like the only circuit that is even comparable is Hell, because of like just the sheer elevation change at the circuit. But yeah, such a different circuit, a very unique circuit in IRX, and yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. Obviously, this is the first time I've seen it properly in action. Absolutely fantastic circuit. I'm loving it. It looks like the drivers are having a fantastic time as well. So we'll see as we make our way into the first heat race. Am I seeing that correct? Did Jacob Rafos not get pole position?
You're seeing that exactly correct. Alexander Abedi will start on the pole with Jacob Rafos in second place. We've seen the starts here at Knockhill be unpredictable. I think we'll see that again here in heat race number 1. Marcus Palacio, Josh Edmondson second, third, and fourth. Garrett Maines will start 5th. Not a great effort from him in qualifying. Damian Jensen will start 6th. And back from there, Christian Rafos Lindo, Steve Ainge, and Brian Sawyer, as we'll get ready for these drivers to go racing. Just waiting on Josh Edmondson to get onto the grid, but this is going to be really interesting, and I think especially with Garrett Maines qualifying there in 5th. This is interesting for Maines, possibly because he's never competed on this course in the World Championship. This course has never been used in a World Championship before. Let's see how these drivers do taking into turn number 1 in RX1. 2 heat races lay ahead. We go racing for heat race number 1. And it's a good start for Jacob Rafos. He'll take the early lead in his brand new Apex Gaming PC's livery. Driver around in the back. That's a Ford Fiesta going around. That's Marcus Palacio, as Garrett Maines already up into 3rd with a great move to the inside in the dirt. Edmondson pushed wide into the tires, but Rafos grabs the early lead. The Ford Fiesta of Alexander Abedi to 2nd. He's got Garrett Maines to deal with behind.
And that was really surprising. I think second place on the grid might be the best place to start there at Knockhill, because we've seen it twice in RX2 with Peterson, and now we're seeing it again here. Rafos in second position on the grid and up into the lead of the race before they even reach the braking zone for turn number 1. So we'll see if that trend continues, but a great start from Mains as well to get up into third position right up from the get-go. And now we'll see the Joker strategy start to come into effect here on the second time of asking.
Rafos in the lead by about 8/10 currently, as Damian Jensen has an issue. He loses the spot to Brian Sawyer. Through the dirt goes Jacob Rafos. You mentioned before the broadcast, Dana, that dirt section reminded you of Brands Hatch. So bumpy, like the Brands Hatch Joker, but everybody seemed to be getting through clean here at RX1 so far. Christian Rafos Lindo going to be the first driver to take to the Joker. It will be joined by Damian Jensen, Steve Ainge, and Marcus Palacio, top 5, still yet to Joker.
And you can see the difference in lines being taken by the RX1 guys compared to the RX2 drivers. Rafos, 0 wheel spin in that turn 2, turn 3 section. Staying onto the tarmac on the inside, taking a nice tight line and not spending as much time as possible just going in a straight line. He wants to be going as straight as much as possible. 0 wheel spin is the name of the game for Jacob Rafos, and currently up in first position, doing well for himself as well. A bit of a deep breath there over the line after a hectic dirt section. It is very tricky, it looks like.
Back into the asphalt, right back to the dirt with 2 to go. Nobody else behind him going to elect a Joker. Only driver that did was Brian Sawyer. He had Garrett Mains at the edge of the transfer spots, and actually outside of the transfer spots. It looks like we're only going to take the top 2 from each of our heats, which means we'll grab 8 from our LCQ, or I believe we might actually have an LCQ split of 2. At the top 3, all Joker. Edmondson get a Joker as well, so that will be the entire field through to the Joker lane. Whereas Christian Rafos Lindo come out in all this mess? He'll come out in 3rd in front of Garrett Mains, who will be 4th. There's the momentum coming through from the number 31, and he's going to cover off that spot in his Leaf Filter Subaru.
Oh, and off. On the final lap, I think Mains went right off the circuit at turn number 2. There's another car around as well. Mains dropping back there at turns 1 and 2. And now onto the final lap of the race, of course, through the dirt section for the final time in this heat race.
Jacob Rafos pretty much perfect through the heat race. He is going to grab your heat race number 1 victory. But grabbing 2nd place and the final transfer spot, it will be Alexander Abedi in his Ford Fiesta. We will see 2 drivers advance from each of our heats, and then we'll have 2 LCQs to punch through, I believe 4 per LCQ. So we'll see how everything works out in terms of the race format, but results are in, and Jacob Rafos, Alexander Abedi, the top 2 by 0.4 of a second. Christian Rafos Lindo will be heading to the LCQ. Garrett Mains does not advance to the feature off of a heat race. He finishes in 4th with Sawyer, Jensen, Ainge, Palacio, and Edmondson all forward through to the LCQ. Heat race number 2 now with Adam Alderton and Sindri Silva. Silva returning to Racecraft Rallycross competition as he starts outside of the front row. Josh Fox, Idar Gierdovic in 4th with David Schofield. Toby Ward the top 6. Rafael Franco and Danny Aish is going to round out the field as we're all ready to get going with our 2nd heat race of the evening. And remember, only taking the top 2 in each of our heat races. We are underway as the full field races to turn number 1. Josh Fox in the inside row, and there's the contact. It is Adam Alderton racing that Ford Fiesta to the race lead. The Subaru of Sindri Silva behind going to settle in as Josh Fox settles to 3rd. Idar Gierdovic to 4th. Schofield, Franco, and Ward all having a battle with Danny H behind as everybody gets through the dirt cleanly. Back onto the asphalt they go to complete lap 1.
And round the final couple of corners that they go. Alderton making a return to the series after a good couple of weeks. I think we haven't seen him since Barcelona potentially in the championship, unless he was at Lucas Oil. I don't think I was there for that round, but leading the way here, in this 2nd heat race. And Silva and Fox, we have a pretty stacked field out here at Knockhill today.
Sindri Silva returning to Racecraft Rallycross competition is welcoming to see the driver that has won 4 heats and a feature in his Racecraft Rallycross career. He 3 Jokers going right on by the braking Adam Alderton in the 27. Idar Gierdovic does also stay out onto the racetrack in his Subaru. That'll put Sindra Silva to 3rd with him, Fox, and I believe Schofield and Franco all completing Joker laps.
Yeah, that was very Sonoma-esque. I mean, this circuit is made up of a bunch of parts very similar to other circuits. So Sonoma's Joker entry is you brake hard and take the right-hander before the final turn. And if you're not taking the Joker and the person in front of you is, it often leads to disaster. This seems to almost be the exact opposite of that. To take the Joker, you go straight on, and if you don't take the Joker, you're braking and turning right. So it's a very interesting place to try and take to the Joker. And as Fox just got ahead of Silva into the final corner?
He did. Josh Fox to 3rd as we look off the back of Adam Alderton on board with him. As we go to 2 laps to go, Idar Gierdovic still has yet to Joker. He currently holds your race lead as Silva and Fox are now in a side-by-side battle for that 3rd spot. Silva grabs it, Fox down to 4th.
Back and forth between these two, obviously previous World Championship drivers in Rallycross as well. So very stacked field of competitors here. And there goes Gierdovic into the Joker. He's going to come out just behind Fox. Is he going to be able to make that move into turn 1 with the overspeed? He's going to go side by side into the first corner. Around the outside is not going to go for it just yet. Maybe try and make a move on the brakes into turn 2, but Fox is just going to hold on for now.
Looks like he tried to cut back to the bottom, did not have enough momentum to do it. Now Fox to 3rd. This is still all behind your 2 transfer spots. Remember, everybody from 3rd on down to 8th will be advancing into one of 2 LCQs, but one driver that is advancing into the feature, Adam Alderton, is going to win another heat race in Racecraft Rallycross. Now 4 total heat races won for the 27 machine.
Yeah, and puts himself nicely onto the front row of the feature race grid as well, where it's going to be an interesting front row of the feature race. I think it's fair to say. Josh, as we see the full race results on the screen there, Sindre Silva will join them in the feature grid. We'll have to wait and see for a little bit later who's going to be joining them from that second heat race as well. As we've got, is this the first LCQ? It is.
It is the first of 2 LCQs. We'll grab the top 4 as Christian Rafas Lindo, Garrett Maines, Brian Sawyer, Damian Jensen, Steve Ainge, and Marcus Palacio will be on the grid for the first of 2 LCQs. We're only going to cut the bottom 2 from each of these LCQs. We will be taking the top 4. We have 6 drivers in this one. I believe we might have 7 drivers in the next one. But 2 LCQs. We're ready to go racing. 6 drivers on the grid. Garrett Maines, World Championship competitor, having a race out of an LCQ. Unfamiliar territory for him. Let's see what he can do as we've got the green light. And it's a great start from the second row. That was Damian Jensen that cut almost a perfect light. He goes into P2, getting right on by Rafas Lindo. But now Lindo fights back on the inside in his Subaru. Garrett Maines a little bit wide through the dirt. Jensen gonna go way wide, lose the spot to Sawyer as well. As Jensen falls to 4th, Garrett Maines right back up to where we've seen him before. Race leader out of the dirt section.
Getting the inside line after turn 2, especially at the beginning of the race, is so important because you've got that tarmac on the inside, and if you get sent to the outside where there's dirt, you're not getting that car turned around and getting back in the right direction again as quickly as anyone else on your inside. So it's so important, as Jensen's just found out there. It's all great for you to go around the outside of turn 1. You have to get that move done, otherwise you're going to be hung out to dry on the outside of turn 2. As Rafas Lindo has just found that out as well. He gets turned around by Sawyer as he gets all sort of loose and gets wide at turn 2 and gets turned around there as well.
Rafas Lindo with contact and went around. We'll grab a replay of that, and it was Rafas Lindo who had a good start running in second. Now he gets pushed out of the transfer spots. He just went wide there with that little grip strip on the inside of the dirt. You want to stay on that. He got a little bit too wide and unfortunately came back down right into traffic. So it's still Garrett Maines out in front with Sawyer Palacio, now Ainge taking to the Joker. Mains and Jensen still have yet to, as we see that number 31 with leaf filter on the side. ShipChevyLiners.com. Subaru off back to the asphalt section. He goes 2 to go this time by. Does he Joker here? Yes, he does. Very aggressive into the Joker braking zone. What does Damian Jensen do? He's also going to Joker. This will push Brian Sawyer through the normal line. Is it going to be enough to get the lead on Mains? No, it's not. That 31 with a huge head of steam going to roar his way back to turn 1. Sawyer will, however, get over to second place as Damian Jensen gets a pass on Steve Ainge.
Oh, Jensen off through turn 1 on the outside. Ainge will get through up into 4th position, so has to hold on still. But a lot of Fiestas in this race as well. Go through the dirt section, so bumpy.
Gets back to the smooth asphalt. Now Christian Rafas Lindo is able to get around Damian Jensen in the number 47. Steve Ainge, who currently runs 4th. He's got that number 7 on the side. He's trying to battle for this transfer spot as the white flag does come out, and that is Garrett Mains in the number 31 at the front of the field. And he's looking to qualify and win his first ever LCQ, which I believe we've never seen Garrett Mains be in a Racecraft Rallycross LCQ. If we have, he has not won one, but this will be completing his trifecta as he goes way wide in the final quarter. Is that going to be a time penalty or a slowdown? I'm not sure, but he's across the line and he will be your current winner of LCQ number 1.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. If there is a slowdown penalty for that, it may well come up a bit late for him to be able to serve it across the line. But results on the screen, it's not. Probably just maybe a 1x, a very rare Rallycross. But yep, around the barriers he went and still taking the race victory there. We'll see who's going to join him from the second LCQ though.
Jensen and Rafas Lindo eliminated from competition tonight. Josh Fox, David Schofield, Idar Gierdovic, Rafael Franco, Toby Vord, Danny Aish, the top 6, and it will be Josh Edmondson on the final row of the grid starting P7. Remember, only top 4 are going to advance their way from this second now LCQ. Revs come up. Green light is on. We are racing again. And it's a good start for the Williams Esports entry of Josh Fox. He runs down on the inside, 3 wide, further back. Danny Aish wide on the outside line as Gierdovic through to second place. Schofield to 3rd as he now has Toby Ward trying to go up the inside in his Ford Fiesta. He'll try and grab 3rd as Josh Fox powers right back to the race lead.
Through the bumps on the exit, always the car off in the background. Is he going to avoid tyre barriers? I don't think. Actually, yes, just about. I think it's Schofield, just about, but it doesn't avoid the car in front. Going to the Joker.
Schofield cannot do that. He cannot Joker first lap. This will not count. Oh, he's pulling it off to the side, so he will retire the car now. So that'll put Schofield out of this race and out of possibility for the feature as Josh Fox and Gierdovic control the race at the front.
Fox a little bit wide there, just about avoiding both of the tyre barriers that he has to weave his way through at the exit of the dirt section, up and over the crest at the hairpin. We'll take to the Joker this time by. We'll see where he's going to come out. Looks like it's going to be 4th position for him.
Top 3 did not Joker there. That's Gierdovic, Ward, and Edmondson. All did not come into the Joker that time by. Only Joker drivers have been Fox, Aish, and Franco as Ward gonna lose out on a spot now to Josh Edmondson as that number 58 Subaru gets a great bit of momentum. Apex Gaming PC's Next Level Racing on that car as he goes to 2nd. Remember, he started tail end of the grid here in this LCQ. From 7th to 2nd, he Jokers now.
Where is he going to come out? No cars directly in front of him. Oh, a couple of Joker merges. A little bit further back, quite close together as well. The massive gap out in front.
Gierdovic, the only driver that has yet to Joker, which explains that massive 5.8 second gap, make it 6 seconds gap at the front of this field. Gjerdevik has the Joker either this time or next. He's going to Joker here. Now, what's going to happen with Josh Fox? We go on board at the number 12.
He hasn't got it.
No, he does not. Gjerdevik with enough of a gap that Idar Gjerdevik is going to hold on to the race lead. White flag is in the air and looking for a first start, first LCQ win for Idar Gjerdevik. Through the dirt section, and Josh Fox will be safe from elimination. Same thing with Josh Edmondson. Same thing with Toby Ward in the fourth position. He's got Danny Aish about a half-second back, but I don't think Aish is going to have enough. And Idar Gjerdevik is going to walk away with his first ever LCQ win and his first ever start.
Oh, and off into the background there, out of the final corner.
Rafael Franco.
Franco completely destroying that Subaru there out of the final corner, just smashing into the timing beam. There are your full race results for the second last chance qualifier. Time for the feature race. I am so hyped for this.
Gjerdevik, Fox, Edmondson, Ward through, Aish, Franco, and Schofield have been eliminated as the field comes onto the racetrack for the warm-up period for RX1. And Dane, those heat races, the LCQs were exciting. We saw how exciting and how much the RX2 feature just kind of flip-flopped a lot. I mean, we really didn't know what was happening until it was happening right in front of us. We saw so many things happen. I think we'll see the same in RX1, but I also think these drivers are a little bit hungrier and are going to know a little bit more about what to do on this course.
Yeah, and it is really showing the drivers that their race ability around the circuit actually looks pretty good, especially with the Joker being a fairly big mud. And we always like that in Rallycross when it's not just half a second, like it is at Lucas Oil, where the Joker is effectively useless as just an extra part of the circuit you have to drive around once in the race. Here it makes the Joker strategy really important because sometimes with a gap this big, especially at the beginning of the race, you won't be able to figure out exactly where you're going to come out of that Joker. So it's really important, and obviously you've got that massive run down the front straight away as well. If you come out of the Joker, you can really get a huge advantage. So obviously some good racing opportunities arise from that as well.
As we get ready to go racing. And remember, we have raced at Knockhill before. This was back in, I believe, February of this year, right around when the track was first added, which was at the end of last year, after the World Championship. So we never got to see World Championship racing at this course. And I believe, Dane, whenever we see that World Championship come back and whatever facet it will be in, I think we're in for some exciting racing when they go to Knockhill for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really impressed with the circuit. I think it's been fantastic. Obviously, my first time watching a race here, commentating on a race here, seeing the track in action. Very impressed with what I've seen. It looks like it's a fantastically fun circuit to drive around, which means the drivers tend to want to practice it more. Obviously, if you get a circuit that's really boring to drive or just annoying to drive, the drivers aren't going to enjoy it as much, but this circuit looks like they're having a great time out there.
For Foss and Alderton on the front row. We know those two have gotten into a scuffle before, i.e. Barcelona. Let's see what happens when they race into turn number 1 at Knockhill. Alexander Abetti, Sindra Silva on the second row. Garrett Maines, Idar Gjerdevik in the top 6. Rounding out the field, Brian Sawyer, Josh Fox, Marcus Palacio, Josh Edmondson, Steve Ainge, and Toby Ward. Some of the best of iRacing Rallycross are going head-to-head at Knockhill. This is exciting. This is the feature race for RX1. What is going to happen as two of the youngest drivers in Racecraft Rallycross will lead us into turn 1. Green light is on. We're racing again at Knockhill, and it's feature time for RX1. Jacob Rafas with a beautiful start. He'll get in front of the Ford Fiesta of Adam Alderton. Alexander Abetti going to go 3 wide up the middle. That's Maines and Silva that had to move out of the way in their Subarus. A Subaru, then 2 Ford Fiestas, then another group of Subarus as the Ford Fiesta of Alderton is going to get into Rafas, and Rafas is into the tires. We saw payback from Barcelona as Alderton now going to take the lead away.
through the final corners. He will go with a huge gap. Adam Alderson out in front. Look to the inside of the left-hander. The door was shut, but he was far enough inside that he just turned them around in front of him and out into the race lead. He'll go ahead. He takes second. Mains up into third position as well, coming from the LCQ, of course. So great start to the race for Mains. Alderson slightly wide through the second corner, but still with a huge gap out in front.
Remember back to Barcelona, it was not last week, but it was a couple of weeks ago. Alderton leading, Rafas behind. Rafas goes to the inside, taps Alderton once, twice, 3 times, and pushes him off into the grass. We heard how Adam Alderton was not happy with that move, and we saw it come back to bite Rafas in the feature race of Knockhill. Sindra Silva takes to the Joker. Still not a lot of drivers up at the front taking Jokers. Alderton and now Alexander Abedi hard into the tires, and he is going to be out of this race.
And what has happened to Abedi there? Was it just a mistake on the brakes, or has there been a slight help into the barriers? We'll see now on the replay.
I don't think any help for Alderton.
No.
He went wide, tapped the grass, and hard into the inside tires.
Just a tap of the grass has sent him to the inside so quickly, and a huge, heavy impact into the tyre barriers there. Very unfortunate for Abedi, and wasn't such a fantastic position, but so easy to do, tapping the grass on the outside as they use all of that painted tarmac on the outside to try and extend and make the line slightly wider, just to get as much speed through turn 2 as possible.
Mains and Gierdevic fight for second place. Remember, all of the drivers in the top 5 right now, Alderton, Mains, Gierdevic, Sawyer, and Palacio, still need to take to the Joker lane. Driver going through, that's Idar Gierdevic, that will Joker that time by. Alderton still no Joker, same thing from Mains. A couple more drivers gonna join Gierdevic into the Joker, but that'll push Sindra Silva to the race lead. Gierdevic Joker done, same thing with Josh Fox, as I believe an issue for Brian Sawyer. Yes, he is stuck in the finish line pylons.
I think that I don't really see a way for him to get his car there other than maybe getting turned around on a Joker exit. Oh, that's exactly what happened. Whoa!
He ran into another car off of the Joker exit. We'll go on board. This is through the middle of the Joker, on board with the 88 of Brian Sawyer. Who is that coming out?
Oh!
I'm not sure who. Oh, that was that Jacob Rafas? It was! That was Jacob Rafas coming out of the Joker lane! That was the 13! Unbelievable! And Rafas towed it back too! He scored in 10th!
That is huge.
What has happened in the feature race at Knockhill? 4 to go. Alderton leads. Mains to second place. Silva to third. Gierdevic fourth. And Josh Edmondson, trying to get further up into the top 5, is knocking on the door of the 994, looking for 4th place.
Down into turn 2. What a crazy last couple of laps we have just had here at Knockhill. Quickly becoming my favorite circuit on iRacing Rallycross. Edmondson following Gierdevic very closely. Tapping the wall there as well. No Joker laps for these two. It's all going to be on track, and all to the inside is Edmondson. He's not quite going to get the run down the main straight. 3 laps to go for the drivers here. Mains and Silva. He still has to take to the Joker as well.
Mains has a ton of damage.
Where is that from?
There, we'll grab a replay. I do see where it is. I'm waiting to see exactly when Mains is going to Joker. He's the last driver left in this lead, Group 2 Joker. And he's going to save it for the final lap. It'll be 2 to go this time by. Let's grab a quick replay of what happened to Garrett Mains. It looks like something might have happened to Adam Alderton. I don't think it was as big as what had happened to Mains. Was it the exact same thing that happened earlier? A tap to the grass, he goes wide. Where does the damage come into play? He gets it back going in the dirt. Was it another hit to maybe the tires? Because there's no damage to the front of the Subaru yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to think
through the
where
dirt.
this could be. What does he hit? Oh. Oh, wait.
Where did that damage
just
come from?
The damage just appeared.
Let's see if anything happened to Adam Alderton. And Garrett Maines has just wrecked again as we're looking at replays. And doesn't look like anything has happened to Alderton, so we're good there. He just took to the Joker. What happened to Garrett Maines? This was just 1 moment ago. Silva on his back bumper. And remember back to the drama a couple seasons ago of Maines versus Silva. Maines Jokers. So that was just the Joker lane. So it looks like ATVO liking to think the Joker lane is crashing as Garrett Maines is actually around.
He's crashing this time. He is around at the toes. What is going on?
And that's checkered flag. Adam Alderton has won. So many things happening on the replay. Unfortunately, we missed the finish, and we apologize for that. But Adam Alderton wins. Sindri Silva second. Josh Edmondson third. Idar Gjerdevik, first start for him. First top 5 as Josh Fox is going to round out the top 5.
I think we're going to have to spend another half an hour watching replays, trying to figure out what's happened in the last few laps.
So, remember when I mentioned the Maines versus Silva drama that we've seen before? I think we might be seeing round 2. Here's the entry into turn 1, and Silva...
It's Gjerdevik, it's not Silva. It's his teammate.
Gjerdevik with the contact. What else happened here? Oh my, and a hard move to the inside by the Ford Fiesta of, I believe that is that Brian Sawyer? No, it's Alexander Abedi.
No, it's Palacio.
So it's Marcus Palacio with a big move to the inside on Maines. And there's more
just like we saw that one.
Maines right into the tires.
Yeah, it's just like what we saw that one between Alderton and Rafos. Wow.
Unbelievable finish to the feature from Knockhill. We'll grab a look at the results, and I can't wait for post-race interviews that we're going to have, because Adam Alderton has won, Sindri Silva is second, Josh Edmondson will get another podium in Racecraft Rallycross with Idar Gjerdevik, first start for the Scandinavian and first top 5. Josh Fox will round out your top 5 with Marcus Palacio, Steve Ainge, Toby Ward, Garrett Maines, Jacob Rafos with a 10th place finish, and we've got news on Rafos in a moment, with Brian Sawyer and Alexander Abedi 11th and 12th. And it is official, Dane, even with the 10th place finish for Jacob Rafos, clenched title, he will be your RX1 champion.
I don't think anyone really is surprised. I think that's because of a non-show from the driver who was in second position in the championship. I think it was Connor Parisi, potentially, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it just means that with the drop weeks now applied, there is no possible way for anyone to beat Jacob Rafos in the championship. But what a crazy race.
That might have been one of the craziest Racecraft Rallycross races that we have ever had.
Like, I remember, like, back to season 1 Brands Hatch, that was insanity. I think this beats it. Like, this was insane, and we still had a bunch of good racing in between it. I think all this shows, Josh,
around what just happened.
Josh, all this shows the 2 tracks that cause, like, the best racing and the most chaos. Brands Hatch, Knockhill. The UK does Rallycross best.
I can't disagree with you. I really can't.
And I'll make you agree with me even more, which means we need Lytton Hill. That's just...
I fully agree with the Lytton Hill addition to iRacing Rallycross. But let's not waste any time. Let's get to talking with your now confirmed champion. Then we'll get to the podium finishers of RX1. But we'll start with Jacob Rafos, our RX1 champion. And Jacob, this season for you, I think it's rightful to say, has been up and down, but finally you do finish on the upside as our champion. Congratulations.
Thanks, dude. It was a hectic race. We were already packed up, so we got in a little incident there in the first lap. So yeah, it was hectic.
You end up as the champion, which this season, I mean, it has been almost a perfect season for you. Pretty much in every single time we have gone racing, I believe, except for this one, you've gotten a heat race win. all but 4 of your feature race wins, which you're up to 9 now, have come in this season of competition, and points gap that is almost north of 60 points to finish off this championship. With no iRacing Rallycross World Championship this season, how much time did you put into this, and how much did you really want this championship coming into this season of competition?
Oh shit, I put up really much time, and for me this is like winning series like Racecraft. It's pretty big, so I think this is pretty big, so I'm really happy to win it.
We still have one more race left in the season. We have Atlanta in 1 week's time. How much do you like that track? Are you looking forward to going racing there for the finale now that you are going to be the sitting champion?
I don't like that track at all. I think that's Josh Edmondson's track for sure. He's probably going to take the W there, I bet.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Jacob. You're the champion of RX1 in Season 3. Who do you have to thank? I know so many people make everything possible for you and the team.
I have to thank Jim Bieber Esports, all the guys, Josh Edmondson, and like everyone on that team, and Epic's Gaming PCs, Ønske Bilbjerging, and yeah, it's all good.
Once again, that is your champion, Jacob Rafos, and the number 13 for Jim Beaver Esports. We won't waste any time, and we'll get going into your second interview. First place finisher in the feature, and it is Adam Alderton. And Adam, it was a solid run for you in that feature, and you started second place in the feature race. And I think the elephant in the room, contact with Jacob Rafos in that feature race, but you get the W. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Again, not really how I want to win it, but I mean, you know, Barcelona happened, so there was a gap there. Jacob saw a gap in Barcelona. I saw a gap here, so I think it's fair dues. So yeah, I'm happy with that result. I'll take it.
But this feature race win, of course, adding to your grand total of now second feature race win for you, and you add on to your heat race wins as well, making it 4 total. Atlanta coming up in 1 week's time. Are you excited for that one? Because it's now we have a champion sitting, everybody going in just racing for the remainder amount of points, which coming into tonight, you were sitting relatively far down in P9, and now with this feature race win, might have an opportunity to hop on to Robbie Larrill and Christian Rafas Lindo that were ahead of you.
Yeah, I highly doubt I'll be racing next weekend. Too busy with racing in real life, with my competitive stuff there, leading the UK Championship in real life. So that's why I've missed most of this championship. But it's good to come in every now and again when I can, when I've got a weekend off. And yeah, so we'll see if I make it next time. But it's not my favourite track anyway, so I'm not too. I don't mind if I miss it, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, good luck to all of your racing in the real world, and thank you for taking the time to join us here on Racecraft TV. And congratulations again on your win tonight in the feature.
Thank you. I'd just like to thank Mario Bonfante, Dylan Baldwin, Matthew Lind, Robbie Larrill, and all the Kenneth Industries people for all the help they give. It's brilliant. So yeah.
And thank you once again for your time. That is Adam Alderton, who grabbed your feature race win tonight from Knockhill. And now, Dane, you're standing by with Sindra Silva, who returns to Racecraft Rallycross and a spot on the podium. Second place for him tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was hard fought for you as well. Just talk us through, from your point of view, that event, because especially the feature race, it was complete chaos out there.
Yeah, 100%. I haven't raced in Smart, so it was a fun comeback to see how the field is and how my pace is compared to the others at this state. So we're just here to practice for the Norwegian Championship. So it was a good settlement to figure out how my level is.
And Knockhill, of course, a relatively new circuit in terms of Rallycross to iRacing. It looks like you guys were having a great time out there. It gave us some pretty decent racing opportunities as well. What do you think of the circuit? Because especially that dirt section looks pretty tricky.
Yeah, 100%. I think I think I'm on 50 laps or something on this track together with the race we had now. So it was not it was not the best opportunity I had, but yeah, it's a fun circuit. It's a tricky one where you really need to push down everything that you have learned throughout iRacing and Rallycross on iRacing. So it's a fun circuit and with some tricky corners and stuff. So it's mega fun.
And then just with the Joker strategy, with the Joker being, it's quite a long Joker there, but you come out into a pretty high speed as well into the exit of the final couple of corners. We saw a couple of drivers having issues with that. A big incident with Jacob Raffos, of course, but he gets completely wiped out by someone coming out of the Joker. Was that on your mind at all? Did you know that was going to be an issue?
Yeah, we did some testing earlier before the race, so we figured out something about the Joker and stuff like that. But I totally missed the call on the Joker, and I shouldn't have Joker there because I came into so much traffic. So it was really tricky to get through the traffic as well. And with these tight corners that you really need to be on the inside line everywhere and things like that, it was tricky. But I saw people had some issues with the exit and stuff, but it wasn't on my mind so far down. So I think I managed it good anyways though.
And you said you're here to practice for the Norwegian Championship. Are you going to be joining us for the season finale at Atlanta next weekend?
It's not on the schedule for the Norwegian Championship. This wasn't either. This was just to figure out where my pace was compared to Jacob and my teammate Idar and stuff. So maybe I will drive Atlanta, but it's not 100% sure for sure.
Well, we would definitely love to have you around. It's always great to see you out there on the circuit. A great second place for you today as well. Good luck in that Norwegian Championship. By the way, I'll hope to try and catch some of the races there. But yeah, that is everything we've got for you. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank Retiring Esport, Idar, for helping me sell down a car and stuff like that. Our sponsor, Pure Norway, Omen, and Manatee for their support to the team and everyone watching the show. It's been fun.
Well, thank you very much, Sindre, and we will see you very soon, I'm sure. Sindre Silva, the second place in today's feature race, and now a familiar face joins us in the booth with Josh and the other Josh.
Yeah, two Joshes now joining us here in the booth. It's Josh Edmondson, third place for you, and continuing the exponential growth of your speed now in Racecraft Rallycross. We saw you, of course, start P10, having a fight out on one of the LCQs. I know gaining 7 spots for a podium finish in the feature has got to feel good.
Oh, for sure. I'm definitely stoked on this race. It was a track I felt I could do good at, and I had decent pace at in the little sessions we did prior. And then I kind of screwed up my qualifying. That put me in the back of the heat, which then I got in some trouble there. So yeah, starting in the back, I definitely didn't expect to get up to P3, but I'm happy with it because I feel like that's where I belonged.
And we saw some great pace, of course, in the heat race as well before the incidents happened that pushed you back into the LCQ. But what does this third place do to your momentum heading into the finale race, of course, of the season? Because Atlanta has been a tough track. Rafos thinks that it might be one of your tracks to win. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely confident at Atlanta. It's my better track, and I did get pole and won my heat race over him last year, and I keep reminding him of that. So I'm not going to let that go until he beats me there again or I beat him.
Well, once again, thank you for joining us here on the broadcast booth. I know so many people make it possible for you and the team, so who do you have to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thanks to you guys putting on the broadcast. Go watch that back for sure. And then everybody on the Jim Beaver Esports team, Next Level Racing, Apex Gaming PCs, Pimax VR, everybody else, and J-Bob for running tracks in and working on sets.
And thank you very much for your time as well. That's Josh Edmondson. Third place finish for him tonight in the feature. And Dane, this only leaves us now with one race remaining on the calendar, and we're going to Atlanta, which has always been a fan and a driver favorite. A Joker lane that basically cuts off the entire second half of the track and leads to a very, very interesting race dynamic that I think we're going to see play out a lot like the Joker lanes that we had saw tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a massive shortcut at Atlanta. It cuts out, annoyingly, the best corner on the track. So I don't really know why they decided to cut that corner out of all the corners they could have chosen to cut. But yeah, donk slide, fantastic corner. The first couple of corners, like the chicanes through like turns 1 and 2 and stuff, it is such a fun circuit to send the car around. It's really technical as well. The dirt section, not easy. And then the Joker, probably the most dangerous Joker exit, and you think tonight's Joker exit was dangerous. You should see the one at Atlanta if you haven't already. It is, you come out at such high speed and at such a weird angle compared to the rest of the regular traffic that, yeah, instance almost always happens through there, but it also does allow some fantastic overtakes to happen as well. Yeah, Atlanta is a fantastic circuit. I am very much looking forward to it. We already have a champion in both of our series, but still plenty of positions in the midfield to settle up there as well, so I'm definitely looking forward to it.
And we hope that you'll join us for the season finale of Season 3 of Racecraft Rallycross. Champions already decided for RX2 and RX1, but we still got unfinished business on the racetrack. For Trevor Teal, Josh Edmondson, and everybody at Racecraft Rallycross, and for my colleague in the booth tonight, Dane Baird, my name is Joshua Lee. We thank you for joining us for one of the most exciting events in Racecraft Rallycross history, and we're only going to get more exciting when we go racing in Hotlanta in 1 week.